over 2.4 million people receiving their first COVID jab. It seems that we are making progress in the fight against the virus.
But with the disease spreading quickly, there's more pressure than ever to roll out the vaccine scheme, and the government is getting help from our troops to do just that.
Well, you might have seen Brigadier Phil Prosser at the government's press briefings. He's the man leading the Army's COVID-19 vaccine Taskforce and in charge of speeding up the rollout. He joins us now. Brigadier, good morning. Thank you.
Good
I know
morning.
You're incredibly busy, and so we really appreciate you being here today, heading up this extraordinary team. And it was something that you said to us beforehand, and that is the fact that you've never battled a virus before. I mean, you are an incredibly trained, tight team, but this is something very different. No theatre of war that you've experienced before.
No, it's true. That's very true. I think the first thing I would say is, I'm part of an incredible team, which is an NHS team, and the military are here to reinforce the NHS, who are very used to dealing with pandemics, obviously not at this scale and not at this level. But the British military are very good at dealing with uncertainty and dealing with new circumstances. And we do have history of delivering aid, setting up hospitals in South Sudan, and we deployed to Sierra Leone to help with the Ebola crisis as well. So I think it's, two world-class institutions with history of doing this type of thing coming together to respond to this national crisis.
So you say that you use battle preparation techniques to help here. So what sort of things are those?
Yeah, so I think when we go to war, we're used to dealing and building plans, and we roughly go through 3 stages, which is analyse, and we've used special map teams to do the geographic analysis, because one thing we have to do is make sure everybody in the country has got equal access to somewhere that's delivering vaccine. There's also a lot of clinical analysis, which is where we sit alongside, working hand in glove with the NHS to do that analysis. And then with the plan, we work out how best to deliver a plan in the complexity. And there's 3 challenges with this programme. One I've already covered, which is the geographic piece. Everybody has to have access to this. The second bit is that we have to get at those who are most at risk, which means that we need to get into care homes, which logistically means small teams. We have to take small volumes of vaccine. Some of the vaccine's quite difficult to handle, so that can be quite complex. And the third bit is about trying to maintain velocity, so get this vaccine into the arms of those people who need it most. So the plan needs to be agile to balance those 3, and of course one comes at the cost of the other. We could go quickly, but what we don't want is, 60-year-olds in Devon to get their jab before 80-year-olds in Newcastle. So we're always having to toggle the plan. And then the final thing we do is we execute at pace, and that's where just discipline and tempo, which I think the military are famous for, just bring in that and bring in those sort of behaviours and working alongside the amazing NHS. I think that's a really powerful team to do to produce the results we need.
And what would you say was the greatest challenge to you?
I think the greatest challenge is balancing those 3 things, because they come, one balances out the other or comes at a cost of the other. So it's a constant trade-off. And the key thing is, we always feel this is one of the most important things the team have done. And it's a really noble purpose. You sense that this is the beginning of the end, and this is going to help the country. But trying to get it out as quickly as possible by balancing that geographic spread, by getting it to where it's needed most, is it's quite difficult to do those things, and it does lead to some difficult discussions.
Can I ask you, when you normally go to war, obviously you're not on home territory, and I think when you sort of travel far afield, you can get into the zone, you're away from loved ones and friends and family, you just get on with the job at hand. But you're here, and your loved ones are going through this and potentially could catch this virus, and it could be life-threatening. How do you switch off from that and just do the job in hand?
Yeah, it's a really good point. So I've been to Afghanistan 3 times, Iraq, and to the Balkans a few times as well. And when we go, you get to speak to your family for about 20 to 30 minutes a week. And that sounds horrendous, but equally, if you are mission focused, it does allow you to focus on the mission. So this is very different. But behind amazing people are amazing families and amazing support networks, and that's what we rely on. So it is a different type of pressure, but as always, the support network behind us, and I'm not just talking about the military team, the NHS face this normally, as you know, they face this sort of pressure on home soil all the time. But the support network work around us, everyone believes in what we're doing. It's a really noble cause. But it's definitely a very different challenge.
With it's very easy, especially over the last year, for any positives to get hidden with the negatives. But I mean, this is a fantastic number: 2.4 million people already vaccinated in a really short space of time. You know, this organisation does seem to be quite extraordinary. But I suppose it's also about. And we were talking to the ladies who actually worked on the vaccine initially. The other day, and it's all about supply and demand. So you can have the most extraordinary system and logistics set up to fire this out around the country, but you have to have the product. So how are you doing with supply?
Yeah, so we work very closely with other government departments who have done heroic effort to get this supply in as quickly as possible. I worked on PPE last year, and we sort of sometimes overlook the fact that there is a global demand for this vaccine, exactly the same as last year. There was a global demand for PPE, and everybody wants it. And I know we work really closely with the team who are sourcing the vaccine, and they work all hours and have done some amazing. They've had some amazing achievements to get the vaccine in as quickly as possible.
Do you think logistically, and I know, the last thing we'll do here is get politically involved with you, but 13.9 has been the target set by mid-February. Looking at your logistics now, availability of stock, and obviously this is going to, as people get used to it, as the network gets even faster, do you think that's possible? So
we've set ourselves ambitious targets, quite rightly, because it's absolutely the right thing to do here. I think to achieve ambitious targets, you need three things. You need a noble purpose, which I'll come back to. You need a really good plan. But as I say, we haven't got a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. So the plan needs to be dynamic. The new strain has placed pressures where we weren't expecting them back in September, October last year. And the final bit you need to deliver ambitious plans is amazing teams. And I think two world-class institutions, the NHS and the British military, coming together, give this country the best possible hope of achieving those targets. And I'll just go back to that purpose. You know, this is the beginning, hopefully, of the end. You don't get a better or more noble cause than getting the vaccine out to fight this pandemic. And what I've seen from both my team and the NHS team that we're supporting is that they will throw everything at this, and we'll do whatever it takes to get it out there and achieve those ambitious targets.
Well, Brigadier, thank you. Thank you so much to you, to your enormous team. As you say, you know, this is all sorts of parties working together, everybody working together to be the absolute best of British. And thank you. Thank you very much for talking to us today. Thanks for what you're doing to us and for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.